We completely support the new American strategy in Afghanistan. And I would like to tell the French people that when New York was attacked, that can happen in any capital of a democratic country. It's not New York which was targeted, but it was democracies. Either democracies are united against the fanatics, extremists and terrorists. In that case, we will win. This is what is happening over there. Secondly, we've talked with President Obama that there will not be any military reinforcement because that decision was taken last year. Number three, we are willing to contribute reinforcement in the police, the economy and security to train the Afghan people. We are not waging a war against Afghanistan. We are trying to help Afghanistan to rebuild. We are not supporting a side at the expense of another. We are supporting the right of the young Afghan to have a future. And on these points, it's around the negotiating table. I've listened to President Obama. He listened to my problems, and we try to find solutions. This is what took place. This is what's going to happen in the future. And I would like to say to all the French people who are happy and proud to welcome the President of the United States on our territory, that he will come back again on June the 6th. We will accord him an extraordinary welcome in Normandy, where so many young American people are buried there, and people should recover their confidence. We are conscious of the difficulties, but we know that we should provide global responses and united response. It's a great honor to work with the President of the United States, who is willing to change the world, and we hope that the world is not reduced to
There we are. That news conference between Barack Obama and the French President Nicolas Sarkozy is over. They had nice words to say about each other's leadership. They also talked about the need to re-engage effort for Afghanistan and the importance of NATO, and also about the warming of relations with Russia. Very interesting comments there. And you heard in the past few minutes Barack Obama warning North Korea to halt its potential plans to launch missiles this weekend, a missile test. He described it as provocative and said the world would take action if it went ahead. Well, watching that as well in Strasbourg is our diplomatic correspondent, Paul Adams. What do you make of it, Paul?
Well, I think one of the striking features there was the way in which Barack Obama went out of his way in a question addressed to President Sarkozy about France in Afghanistan to allay fears and quash the suggestion that somehow the United States is unhappy with France's contribution. I wanted to publicly thank and praise the French leadership, he said, over Afghanistan. I have not had to drag France kicking and screaming. Clearly he wanted to put that to one side, to allay those criticisms. But he also went on, of course, to say that it was more likely that any future attack, Al-Qaeda attack, would take place in Europe than in the United States due to the sheer proximity of Europe to Afghanistan. And so perhaps a subtle reminder there to anyone in Europe who might be thinking, you know, is this our fight? That yes, indeed, the threat that is posed by terrorism emerging from that fragile area between Afghanistan and Pakistan affects us all.
Our diplomatic correspondent Paul Adams, live in Strasbourg. Thank you very much indeed.
Barack Obama has asked NATO's European members for more help to turn the tide in Afghanistan. The American president made the plea in the last hour alongside his French counterpart Nicolas Sarkozy in Strasbourg for the NATO summit. The meeting will celebrate the 60th anniversary of the Atlantic Alliance. Mr. Obama praised the organisation for its steadfastness over the past 6 decades.
NATO is the most successful alliance in modern history. And the basic premise of NATO was that Europe's security was the United States' security, and vice versa. That's its central tenet, That is a pillar of American foreign policy that has been unchanging over the last 60 years. It is something that I'm here to affirm, and with France's reintegration into the highest command structures of NATO, that principle will continue to be upheld.
President Obama, well, the NATO summit's deliberations on Afghanistan will be watched closely too, and President Sarkozy has been speaking about the NATO summit.
I would like to tell President Barack Obama, that I was very happy to work hand in hand with him, and how I appreciated his openness and his openness of spirit and his willingness to build a new world.
President Sarkozy there thanking Mr. Obama for his support. Well,